right. It's time to talk to Nate Taylor, ESPN's insider here on 96.5 The Fan. Nate, you know me very well. You know I am a joyful, fun, non-serious person. Unfortunately, I don't get to be that with this first question. What's the update you got for us on Rasheed Rice, my man?
Well, I wrote about this on ESPN. I think we posted the story late last night after going through rigorous, research and reaching out to the alleged victim. I want to make this clear. If the allegations are true, based on the Instagram post, based on what the woman who is the ex-girlfriend of Rasheed Rice, the mother of his two children, it's horrific, honestly, based on the images and her account. Now, she has not said anything since. I want to make it very clear to the audience that there's been no police report filed for domestic abuse, whether that's in Dallas, Texas, which I believe is where she lives now, and obviously in Kansas, which is where she lived over the past couple of seasons. It's really grim. Football obviously takes third, fourth step back to all of this, but if the allegations are true, if there's evidence to corroborate what she said, then it spells doom for Rasheed Rice's football career, in my opinion. And so we'll just keep on it in terms of the reporting and see if she comes forward with the police report. That is yet to happen, but domestic violence is terrible. We all know this. It's horrific. The damage it does to the victims, the fact that there are two children involved, basic tragic in a lot of ways. So just honestly terrible based on the appearance of it. Now we're just going to try to see, and I know the NFL is involved. The Chiefs are aware of this. We should probably make that clear too. They're probably trying to gather as much research or as much information and evidence as we can, or the public will hopefully be interested in demanding as this moves forward. But yeah, it's if any of it is true, it spells doom for Rasheed Rice's career. That's probably the simplest way to say it.
Talking with Nate Taylor of ESPN, our Chiefs insider. So when we look now at the offseason, and that has already begun, obviously, and whatnot, what do you think is the number one goal for this offseason for this team?
Well, the issues continue to arise, right? And I do think the playoffs that we're going to see, especially in the first round and even in the divisional round, they can't help inform you, because those are the teams that you are willing to compare yourself to in terms of hey, this team had more success this year. We're actually, in reverse, circumstances based on, the last 6 years. I guess the last 7 years. It's amazing that they went to 7 straight AFC championship games. So I would Travis Kelce is a big factor in all of this. Again, I'm of the belief that he will likely return, for another year in 2026. The question is, how much does Mahomes' rehab, how does his rehab go throughout the entire offseason? And I think their biggest hurdle is, can you improve the pass rush, legitimately, to where it can be a factor, to where you can have consistent pressure on the opposing quarterback, to where you can actually get off the field on 3rd and long. I know this Rasheed Rice allegation puts things into perspective, obviously, but the Chiefs don't really have a dominant receiver anyway, and now receiver is pretty high too. But I'm not the first person. Hey, maybe you go veteran option with running back, and then as in the draft, based on where they're picking ninth, you have a chance to take truly the best player available that's not a quarterback. And so I'm totally okay with that strategy. But they got to get better in terms of just rushing the passer, improving their run game. And I don't know how the group of pass catchers is going to look in 2026. but that'll be interesting because that group has to get better as well.
So you talk about pass catchers, Nate, and we saw yesterday that Connor Embry is no longer with the Kansas City Chiefs. Bigger emphasis, a good, solid wide receiver coach or an offensive coordinator?
Ooh, can I have both?
Well, yeah, because, I'm just going on the theory that Andy calls the plays. You bring in an offensive coordinator, it's new season, same episode. But with the wide receivers coach, it seems like there's a little bit of separation where they can be really all in with those position players.
Yeah, and that needs to improve. I can't disagree with it. I said it multiple times on this station that I really had no defensive argument for Connor Embry. So it's no surprise that he was, fired because the Chiefs receivers, based on the amount of investments you put in, right? That includes Rasheed Rice, second-round pick. That includes Xavier Worthy, first-round pick. Have those guys gotten marketably better since they were, NFL rookies? And that is an answer that's pretty easy to anyone who watched this team over the last 2 to 3 years. I know there's some sloppiness, there's some alignment issues. The Chiefs really struggle to beat man-to-man coverage. All of these are techniques that need to be really honed in and focused by a receivers coach that's going to get the absolute best, is going to develop. That's one of the biggest issues. And I know I wrote about this, I think it was last week, guys, but it's still puzzling and almost befuddling, guys, that the Chiefs do not have a 1,000-yard rusher since Kareem Hunt's rookie season in 2017. Mm-hmm. And from the day they traded Tyreek Hill away, they have yet to have a 1,000-yard receiver. And again, given the amount of Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Sky Moore, these were all players that were under Connor Embry's responsibilities and duties, and none of those players really got markedly better. And that obviously includes Rasheed Rice and Xavier Worthy, when we know they are very talented on the football field. If you can get a, more qualified, dedicated, I want to say who can provide more accountability, but honestly, just more solutions to what you can see on the field, that wide receivers coach can do a marketably, seismic improvement for this pass catching group. Because one of the things that whoever that next coach is going to have to say, this is what your quarterback prefers. This is where the sideline is, Xavier Worthy. Hey, this is what teams are going to present to you if Rasheed Rice is on the field next season. And whoever they draft, I still think, hey, we didn't learn a ton about Jalen Royals, but I still think the Chiefs will probably draft a receiver, would be my guess, at some point, maybe the mid-rounds in the draft. Hey, whoever that player is, you got to give them solutions. You got to give them ways to improve immediately. And it's understandable that, for as much as people were clamoring, I know the receivers themselves were frustrated with, their own position coach.
Oh, wow. Okay, good. That's good to know that it wasn't just us looking at it from the outside. It was the players on the inside as well. Were like, look, man, let's call it what it is. The guy was a running back and never coached before, and now all of a sudden is a wide receiver coach in the NFL. That's a fail by Andy.
It's a gamble, and it just did not work. There's really no way around it. When fans understand that this is an unusual path to being an NFL position coach, you're like, okay, I understand that. That's fine. But also, you've got to be someone who is, I think, a little bit more in the prodigy, sort of type when it comes to a position coach who's obviously an early riser, someone who's got brilliant ideas, and we just never really saw that from Connor Embry. And there's not enough evidence on the field to say oh, Kadarius Toney knows where to line up. I mean, I could just name 8 receivers that Connor Embry had a hands-on impact, and again, none of those players reached NFL stardom really, and their best example was really Rashee Rice, and he's got his own issues to deal with. So, yeah, the receivers were more frustrated. And I always used to make this I always used to sort of quietly say this out loud. I know that's really hard for people to believe, but Xavier Worthy got, you can look at it and it's factual. Xavier Worthy as a receiver in his rookie season got better the absolute moment DeAndre Hopkins arrived. I could argue that DeAndre Hopkins and Travis Kelce have been more impactful to the development of Rasheed Rice and Xavier Worthy than Connor Embry. That's a problem.
Nate, I want to ask you tonight. There's a pretty solid college football game on between Miami and Ole Miss, and I'm in fantasy land, man. I want Ruben Bain to be in red and yellow.
Put a spotlight on them, kids. If you care about your football team here in my beloved hometown, I wish ESPN, my employer, would just say, you know what, for your city, for your team, if we had ability to like push a button, I would just love a solo camera on Bain, because what he did to Ohio State was really eye-opening. Like, you knew he was a good player, but it's like, this is incredible. Like, did Ohio State were they just not prepared? Did they not understand? Like, they didn't really make that many great adjustments in the game either. But like, I know he has short arms. Yes, I know Jay Beakley's going crazy over the idea that like he does not fit a certain profile.
I don't care.
But the juice is there, man. If Bain provides similar juice tonight against a more spread them out, a more modernized version, I'm okay with Ohio State's offense because it's a little bit more traditional. Ole Miss is like, we know who we are. We're spreading you out, and we're trying to quick strike and take things over the top. And they have a better mobile quarterback than obviously Ohio State presents at this point. So if Bain can look similar, again, against a different offense, a different quarterback, bigger stakes, yeah, man, some of these measurables might not matter, because I always understand why evaluators are like, hey, you want to understand who the person is. Second biggest thing is, man, it's the tape. Like, if the tape is undeniable, like, you kind of have to lean on that. So Bain was incredible in the quarterfinal. Now let's see what he does tonight in the semifinal.
Give me an upset this weekend in the NFL playoffs.
Jacksonville.
Okay. You like T-Law over J. Al?
It's a team sport, ladies and gentlemen. It's a team sport. And one of the more brilliant things about Patrick Mahomes is he kind of made a team sport not feel like a team sport. That's how good he is. So we're asking Josh Allen and really James Cook to do marvelous work against a pretty competent defense in Jacksonville. And I think there are more ways to exploit Buffalo's defense than Jacksonville's defense. I know from a betting perspective and from an experience standpoint, Buffalo is the favorite. I understand that. But there's a pattern of Sean McDermott getting his team to the postseason and then his defense utterly collapsing. Now you're telling me Trevor Lawrence is playing the best football of his career with a Liam Cohen-led offense that has a lot more solutions than I was maybe anticipating in year one of a rookie head coach. If the Jaguars are really going to do something this year, this is a really nice start for them because I don't know if I trust Buffalo's defense. And one of the things I can trust as you get to the playoffs is an improving NFL quarterback sort of reaching his prime at home and a head coach who has really guided this team, I think, really well. I know he probably won't win Coach of the Year, but what Liam Cohen did in Jacksonville is quite remarkable. So if you want a legitimate upset, that would be the one. I think the second one, and it's going to break my heart, guys, like sometimes Jordan Love can just like get into a zone, and so I'm a little bit leery for the Chicago Bears if Jordan Love all of a sudden plays to his maximum potential. But I think the biggest upset and what could be the more seismic results in Wild Card Weekend is Jacksonville beating Buffalo.
All right, Nate, before we let you go, I want to go back to something you just said. You said football is a team sport, and Patrick Mahomes has made it very much an individual sport because of how good he is. Will the Chiefs take a step back this year and realize it can't be an individual sport anymore and truly go out and surround him with the weapons that he needs, not just for next year, but for moving forward?
Yeah, I think they know that. Okay. I truly think they know that. And I think for Brett Veach, the most sizable example of this, I could say, was 2020, right? Because Mahomes was so good that season. Obviously, they went on a run. They had a bunch of injuries. The man, to this day, and I will not argue with anyone. I know what my eyes watch. Forget about the statistics. The best Super Bowl performance that Patrick Mahomes ever played was in 2020 in Tampa with an absolute horrific offensive line. That was obviously due to injuries and receivers who could not catch the ball that day. And that even includes Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Mahomes played out of his mind. And it was a reminder that, like, oh, yeah, that's right. It's a team game, and you kind of need to better support your quarterback. So, of course, they had a very good draft in 2021. They had an even better draft in 2022. It fills out the team. Obviously, your quarterback goes to an even higher level, makes an MVP run in 2022. And, you know, the dynasty is continued. The reason why Mahomes is so great, guys, is because, again, and I know I'm not the first person to say this. I know it's been fun to kind of read it on Twitter. But, like, he took Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Justin Watson, and Rasheed Rice. Thankfully, he had Travis Kelce also reach an absolute Hall of Fame peak in 2023 to get them back to the Super Bowl, let alone they won the Super Bowl that year. One of my favorite moments is Chris Jones literally getting up off his seat on the bench in overtime of that Super Bowl against the 49ers and saying, where the hell is Marquez Valdez-Scantling going? Well, Chris, he's going backwards. He's going backwards, even though he had a 6-yard gain on first down. That's okay. We'll throw the ball to Marquez Valdez-Scantling again, and we'll still convert on third down, and we'll still score the game-winning touchdown in overtime. So we know Mahomes has the talent, right? We know he has the leadership, the mentality, the moxie, the wherewithal to do what is necessary. But, yeah, it's still a team sport. You still got to have somebody outside of Chris Jones who can rush the quarterback. You still have to have someone who your quarterback can rely on that's not named Travis Kelce. And, again, the organization is basically like, please come back because, you know, we understand what you provide both on a statistical production level and what you just mean to the locker room and just, like, your professionalism, honestly. And so I know Patrick's going to do his best to try to get Travis to understand that so that they can play one more time together as teammates. But we're going to realize this throughout the next month, guys. It's a team game because I'm not sure Josh Allen can do a 2023 version of what Patrick Mahomes accomplished. And he doesn't have Travis Kelce. His best teammate is James Cook. I don't know if I trust, you know, Buffalo's receivers. He's just going to have to go into, like, Superman mode. Same thing with, you know, Justin Herbert. He's got a bunch of injuries. Drake May has never done this before. At least he has a very good coach in Mike Vrabel. But, like, the AFC is so wide open, and it is going to be reminiscent of, okay, what unit do I trust? What quarterback do I trust the most? What coach won't put us in? Is that Sean Payton? I don't know. Is it Mike Vrabel? I guess we'll see. Will Liam Cohen, he be scheming it up for Trevor Lawrence. Can Trevor Lawrence execute in the fourth quarter? I have serious questions about Sean McDermott. And again, if the Bills lose, he could be out of a job a week from now. So there's so much to go on in the AFC that it's going to tell you, okay, do I trust Houston's defense? Like, I think I should. Denver's defense is very good, but, like, I don't trust Bo Nix in a playoff game of absolute importance. I haven't seen it yet. So we're going to really miss Patrick is all I'm trying to say for the next month or so.